back to the TikTok show. I am your host, Ryan Heelan, and I could not be more excited about today's guests. They are all over TikTok. I'm sure you've seen one of their many viral videos. Please welcome to the show, Henry and Mike, also known as the Pointer Brothers. Guys, thank you for being here.
Ryan, thanks for having us. Thank you for having us, man.
Now, TikTok is insane. You guys have over 860,000 followers on TikTok. Take me back to when this whole thing started. Like, is this just as crazy to you as it is to everyone else?
Absolutely. Yeah. We still remember when we first started back in 2020. I was working and we got sent home to work entirely remote. Mm-hmm. So I moved back in with my parents, living in the family house. Mike was in college. They sent him home at the end of his semester. And, we were kind of just quarantined back at home and just decided, hey, dude, let's kind of show, our comedic side on the internet, make some funny videos for our friends, just, mess around and see what happens. Because we scroll through all the time and you see people make they go viral over these crazy videos. So we're like, hey, let's just have some fun with it and see what happens.
Right.
It started out just making videos for our friends. We had no intentions of going viral at all. We're just like, hey, we're bored. Let's make funny videos and all that. And then we had one that went off. We're like, oh, that's pretty sweet. And then I think the first one that really propelled us was when we started our handshake series, handshakes with the homies, which we kind of took that norm of it started out there'd be 5 handshakes. It'd start out pretty normal, and then they'd start every handshake get a little more weirder and weirder. And that and then we made part 1, and then we're like, hey, what do we do next? Part 2, part 3, part 4. Yeah. So then we kind of started growing through there. But yeah, we had no intentions of it wasn't 3 years ago. We're like, hey, dude, we want to be creators. We want to do this full time. I played college soccer, and I actually made the decision to stop going back to school to pursue this full time. Yeah. And Henry actually just recently quit his job too. So it is crazy. You know what I mean? But it's fun, it's exciting, and
that's great. The pandemic kind of forced everyone to go home, and now suddenly you just kind of tapped into this creativity that I think everybody has, but it's what else were you going to do during that time? I mean, there was nothing really going on. Everything was shut down. And so you had to find ways to entertain yourselves, and you guys did that. And now you're entertaining thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. So congratulations. Now, you guys didn't want to be creators, but growing up, I think everybody kind of makes at-home videos with their brothers or sisters. Were you guys kind of like that, just always goofing off, kind of, the brother dynamic that you guys have? How was that growing up?
Yeah, we've been, joking around and making these videos and just honestly, kind of showing our comedic side at home forever. You know, I mean, what would you say? I would say we definitely, we got it growing up from our dad. Our dad's the funniest dude we know. And we actually have an older brother. And he lives he moved out. He lives a couple towns over. If he was living with us, there'd probably be 3 Pointer Brothers. Right. But he was obviously quarantined. He had to stay at his house. We were here. So, but every single one of us, just always goofy. We're always making videos, always recording each other. But we never really had the intentions of posting it. Me and my other brother made a basketball spoof highlight tape a while ago, and we're making a couple of those. So we've always been creating content. But awesome. One thing that we kind of had been doing forever is the sports content. Like Mike said, the basketball highlight tape, and it's always been a lot of sports has been a big part of our lives. I mean, growing up, we played all sorts of sports, and as we've kind of more and more got into the sports celebrations and the other sports content on our page, it just draws from our past and just how we have been athletic and have been playing sports our whole lives. So it's feels awesome to integrate the sports and the comedy.
Right. Now, your handshake videos you guys kind of talked about, did that, you guys played sports growing up, is that where you got the idea from? I don't know if you've seen the Drake and Will Ferrell sketch from the that really reminds me of you guys. Is that where it came from? Playing sports growing up and celebrating and stuff like that?
To be honest, I don't think so. I think it just kind of was one video that we were like, this could be funny, let's do it. And then it hit and we were like, let's do it again and again. So how it started out with the handshakes. I wanted to make a video of just doing one handshake. I'm like, but dude, let's make it weird. And Henry's like, yo, instead of doing one, let's do it. He came up with the idea of dude, let's do a series where they kind of start out normal. And then they weird at the end. And who knew that hit? And we said, part 1, part 2. But then when we never really used our sports background to anything. So when we did the celebrations, that's where it comes out. And we can actually are pretty good at the sports too. So people will comment and be like, dude, how are you guys pretty good at each sport? It's well, we honestly and with our dad and our older brother, that's all we did was just play
Right.
sports.
It's like, believe it or not, before the handshakes, we had normal lives. Like we were doing regular people stuff.
So,
Now, how have, your friends and your family reacted to you guys taking social media so seriously? I think there's kind of a stigma around it for people that don't really understand it, but have you just gotten support? And what are some of the tough things you had to overcome when you made this decision?
no, definitely. I mean, I agree with you. It's definitely, it's looked at, and like, I mean, you can either look at it two ways. People either have no idea and still don't understand it. And then obviously, very supportive and do understand that like there's so much money to be made, but not even the money side. Like you can just have an influence on people, to grow a following and to be able to connect with the community, I think is like the coolest part. But yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I mean, I had some friends that were skeptical for sure. You know what I mean? Like, I'm 24, and if I was to tell you I make videos with my little brother and we do handshakes on TikTok, you're gonna be like, dude, grow up. Like, are you serious? But that was one thing that was a little tough for me to kind of get over in the beginning. To be totally honest, I was like, oh, geez, like, I mean, you see a lot of 18-year-olds that are doing stuff on here, but then, the longer that we stuck with it, and the more success we started to have, the more comfortable and really excited I was to share that, yeah, this is what I do. This is exciting. It's fun. While some of the videos are, goofy and silly, it's something I enjoy doing. And it's something that, we can frankly make a living out of. So, you know what I mean? So if, someone doesn't necessarily see eye to eye with, our vision, then it's like, hey, it's okay. You don't have to, but definitely overwhelming support from my parents, which was, I think probably one of the biggest things that, enable us to really pursue this. Mike's, conversation and his decision to not go back to school was fairly well accepted by our parents. So I think that, you can probably speak to that if you want a little more. Yeah. But well, I think that would probably be like one of the biggest things with like my parents, is like when I made the decision, it was tough. I've been thinking about it for a while. Like it was like 2 months straight in my own head, didn't tell anyone. I was like, dude, like every day I'd switch off. I'm like, I'm going to go back to school because I play soccer. We're like, I'm going to have a good season, all that. And then I'm like, no, dude, like we actually are rolling. Like this could be once in a lifetime. Right. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And finally, I'm like, I remember I met with Hank one night and I'm like, dude, I think I don't want to go back to school. And it was crazy. We talked for like an hour. Yeah. And he's like, holy shit. Like, wow. And then, I told my parents, and like, they were nothing but supportive, and it made the decision so much easier. They're like, yeah. So I was
kind of the same way. Like I was doing this for like 2 or 3 months before I even told anybody, like any of my friends and my family. It was just one of those things where I was sure of it, but I wanted to make sure that I was 100% in, just because there's a lot of things you don't know when you start doing this. But I think you said it perfectly. Like you got to stick with it, and if you stick with it, you're going to see things that you never thought you'd be able to accomplish. So, congratulations to both.
Yeah. I think it was, especially when I made the decision not go back to school. I'm talking pretty fast right now. We had around, I think like 350,000 followers on TikTok, which, is like a good amount. But compared to like, there's a lot of people who have way more and less, but I was like, hey, like I believed in us. Like I believed in myself. And I'm like, dude, we're on a roll. We're making good content. Like I know there's so much content we haven't even made yet that's going to be able to hit, and so much potential to grow a community. We already had like people, some fans like on first name basis calling us Henry and Mike, which I think was one of the coolest things. Yeah. Instead of just saying like, yo, the brothers, like you two, they now know each other for like separate people, but also as the twin brothers, which is pretty sweet, where that we're getting that development where people are starting to make like connections. But yeah, and then we've just grown tremendously since, and just gonna keep going. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I'm super interested in this dynamic of you guys being brothers, because I have a brother and I love him and he's my best friend, but he can also sometimes be like my worst enemy. So what's that dynamic like working together? Like, do you know when to support each other and then like push each other and motivate each other, but also like not step on each other's toes and let them do their own thing? How does that work?
Yeah, it's funny because I mean, we beef like all brothers, like you just said. I think for the most part, we both know, like, we're like, dude, we want this to go crazy. We want to grow the Pointer Brothers. Like we both are so, like set on that end goal of just growing, that I think we can kind of overlook some of our scuffles. But there's times where we'll be filming and it's just, we just start like annoying each other, to be honest. Like it happens, but I think, we do a good job, and I think, we're able to kind of get level headed and realize, all right, dude, like, there's a main goal. We're both
you guys see the bigger picture here.
exactly. Like when I wanted, like, strangle him, it's like,
Right.
it's all right. We'll get through it. We'll maybe put the camera down for 20 minutes and come back. And we'll pick it back up. You know what I mean? But
there's definitely times where where you're excited to film and want to film, and there's times where it's like we need to film. And I think that's one of like the things. It's just like that's part of like the social media world is like, because you got to put out not just good content, but do it consistently too.
Right.
And yeah, there's definitely times where it goes both ways where Hank's like, "Oh, we should film," and I'm so tired and I'm just beat and I just don't want to film. But it's like, all right, let's film this, or other way around, Hank. But if we genuinely don't want to film, we just won't film because we know that it's like probably thicker or both be like it'll be more of like a process and more of a pain.
Feel like a force.
Then being like enjoying it, and when we enjoy it, it's so fun. We're doing
and you can tell video too,
handshake celebration videos. We're having a good time. So yeah, some of the times we'll just be like, you know what, we'll take the whole day off. We won't film because like we're both not feeling it and don't want to. And it's good though. It's healthy. So
yeah, I think it's good to work with somebody you're so comfortable around, because if not, I know you might say yes to some things you aren't really into, and you might like compromise when times you don't really want to compromise, but you guys have a great dynamic going. Now, I've checked out some of your YouTube videos, and you guys have done things like your handshakes in public to playing football like on the Vikings football field. Yeah. So what has been the craziest moment for you guys where you like sit down and go, oh my God, this is real. Like we're doing this.
Really good question. I think my moment would be, we took a trip out to LA and we ended up at Dan Bilzerian's old house, the Wish House. So basically that was yeah. So, Dan Bilzerian used to rent or own or something. He was associated with this mega mansion that I'm sure we've all watched the parties that he used to throw. And we ended up out in LA on a trip, and we were out there why were we out there? Just to kind of.
It was our first time ever out there.
Yeah, just to get out there and see what's going on, right?
Somebody's there to do some creative stuff.
Yeah, right. To visit some friends and film some content stuff. And we ended up getting into the Wish House, and there's all this criteria for following and followers and like this and that. And it was like a fight to get in there, but they were like, yeah, you guys are good. You can come in on this day. And we went in there and just kind of like being in this mansion that we've seen on TV and all this stuff and filming content. And like, we're here because we put in all this time to grow a following and to make videos and to make people laugh. And like, that's what we're doing. We earned like this trip. And I thought that was really cool to me. Was like, holy shit, if you told me this, a week into quarantine when in 2020 first started making these videos, I'd be like, dude, there's no way we're going to be out there doing that. Yeah. Like that was one moment to me that I thought was really exciting. So
yeah, I think one of the moments too, like you said, we went to Minnesota to collab with the mascot, Victor the Viking, who's awesome. You started out with he commented on one of our videos. We responded, and then we ended up in the DMs, exchanged emails, Zoom call, like did everything. And and I think like one of the things that really like hit me was like, we only went there. We were in Minnesota for like less than 24 hours. We flew in on Friday night, flew out Saturday night, and we brought a filmer with us too to document it. And it's kind of like, wow, dude, like, yeah, like we're organizing, we're getting a filmer with us, we'll get a hotel room, and we were just there. We had the whole stadium to ourselves to film content, and with an NFL organization with the mascot. In the future, we actually have some other mascots lined up. We don't have like dates, but we have a bunch that want to work.
Speed dating with mascots.
yeah. So, but that was pretty insane to be like, hey, like this was pretty sweet to be able to, just take a flight out quickly for a day,
get down there on the field, kick field goal, all that stuff. It was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think social media is one of the things where you can just keep surprising yourself with, I kind of feel the same way about you guys. Like people, 3 years ago, my dream was to host a talk show, and now I'm interviewing creators that I never thought I'd have the chance to meet. So it is, you have to appreciate the journey in every step of the way. But again, you guys are killing it. Who inspires you? I know like with social media, it's kind of tough to like, are you inspired by other creators, by like famous people who make content? You said your dad is.
Yeah.
Who inspires you guys to kind of start creating content?
Well, I think for one of it, inspiration too is like our dad's a big inspiration for like just in the comedy aspect. Because I bet you a lot of people would say like with their family, because everyone's got like either that funny family member, like genuinely, like if we had a camera on him for like half of the stuff that he would say growing up or anything, like it's jokes. It's jokes. So definitely is like a big inspiration for the humor aspect and comedy. One of our or I don't know if you're about to say this, a comedian that's a big inspiration is Tim Robinson. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's got his show, I Think You Should Leave, on Netflix.
Right.
And that's actually where we got our name, the Pointer Brothers, from, was one of his skits. But we look up to him. Like, that's definitely somebody we want to meet in the future. And it would be insane to collab with him. But he's like our favorite comedian. That's what I say.
I think what we like about him most is his sense of humor is so niche, you know, like we joke all the time. And I think you can see it in our page at times. But other times, you know, we show our humor differently, but like just his facial expressions, the little tiny noises he makes, like all this stuff we find hilarious. It could be something you'd watch a skit, you just like watch right over it. You wouldn't even notice it. And we'd be laughing about like the way his eye twitched when someone said something, or like that's the type of stuff that really, really kills us. And I think that's you know, a huge inspiration for us.
I'm the same way. Like I'm a huge fan of The Office, like as you can see.
Yep.
But, like, every time I watch an episode, that I always catch something that I missed the first time. If it's like a facial expression or a little comment here, it's insane when you start creating content. You pay attention to the little details that you used to gloss over. Now, I think you guys are absolutely in a position to where you can give out advice. You know, people want to create content like you guys. People follow you and say, I love what they do. I want to do the same thing. So what advice would you have for creators who watch you and say, that's what I want to do?
Yeah. So for the advice, we actually had a conversation with another creator. His name's Beast Child. And we had a conversation with him. We were up on a Zoom call, and we asked each other like the same question. And I said, like, you know, find a niche and just stick with it. And what he said, he's like, I like that, but go even deeper, like make a series or make it. So that's like my advice for somebody. And I think I've seen other people do it and it works, is start a series and then, you know, keep making a couple parts, you know, and then figure out what you did well in one video and keep doing it. And if it doesn't do well, trial and error, keep trying it a couple times and then stop doing it. But do a bunch of different series, you know, if you like a series. That's what we like we said, our whole page is basically series. We have, you know, the handshake video, the dancing,
right,
how to meet your homies, celebrations, like all this stuff, fake hurt videos where, you know, we do a fake hurt and twerk. Those are well, though we've been doing those forever. But yeah, so that's my advice is to, you know, trial and error with different types, but start a series of some sort, you know, best ways to do this, or cooking. You could do certain, like, right. So that's what I would say. I don't know about you.
I think in addition, what works so well about creating a series is that if your followers or, you know, whoever's watching your videos get really interested and invested, they're going to start commenting and it's going to drive engagement. Well, you know, I've seen that you've already done 2 videos on this topic. Can you do this, or can you do X or Y or Z? And then that drives comments. Then gives you the opportunity to engage with those comments and engage with your community. One of the best things for us is with these sports videos, we'll you know, best celebrations to do after hitting a home run. We'll be flooded with comments. Do soccer, do basketball, do water polo, do like everything. And I think it, you know, not only it helps the algorithm and boosts the video when you're getting all these comments, but it also just, you know, allows you to really engage with your community and really connect and show that you care and that you're listening. And I think that's huge.
And like, to go off that, like you just said, like they care, is when you are responding to these comments saying like, yep, here's the basketball ones, here's the soccer ones. They show that they see that you respond. So they're going to keep coming back for the more video, and they know that you deliver and you'll keep making these videos. Or if you ask for certain sport or certain style of handshake or certain people will be wanting to come back and keep engaging.
That's the thing. Like, you know, if people are asking for more, you know, they're enjoying it, you know,
right.
So that's definitely, I think, a great way. It's going to be different depending on your niche, depending on what videos you're interested in making and all that. But I think definitely try to create some sort of a series that you can then recreate and continue to.
I know. I mean, when I first started out, I was getting some of my best ideas from people who were commenting on my videos, like stuff I never thought of or didn't think was funny. They were like, you should try this. And I was like, okay, what do you know? But then boom, it was like a great video. So great advice.
Awesome.
Now, I can't let you guys go without saying you guys are the funniest people on the internet, but the hairdo on these two is insane. But I love the mullet, guys.
Dude, thank you so much. It's you know, it's kind of built. We're building it into our brand now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
you guys are all in.
Yeah. It's funny because before like quarantine, like we both growing up throughout middle school, high school, college, both like short hair, bald fade. Like that never have had long hair.
That's you.
Or
I had
that
a
was
little.
me.
I had a
You-
couple years where I let it grow down.
You had
But
curly hair.
Okay.
no.
But
Yeah.
and then quarantine hit like a couple years ago, or whenever 2020. And we're like, dude, we're gonna be here. Let's just grow out our hair.
Let's grow it out.
Did mullets for a little bit. We dyed them, and then we ended up getting rid of them after a couple months. And then again, we got when did we decide to grow them out again? But whatever,
ago,
we
yeah.
decided to grow them out, and now it's like people have like we actually on our Instagram story right now. Some kid like DM'd us yesterday saying, "Hey, I'm getting a mullet because of you guys." Like
Nice.
no picture of it, and he just sent us a video, and we posted the screenshot of what he said to us, and then the video of his mullet he just got. And we had over like 10, 15 people, 20 people say, "Yo, I'm getting a mullet because of you," or like, "I just got a mullet."
Great.
It's like crazy.
Yeah.
So now it's almost like it's part of the brand. We got to keep it. We got to keep it. I love it.
That's the real influence you guys have, the real power. Barbers all across the country should thank you guys for all the mullets.
Yeah, it's cool. It's funny how just like trends work with like how mullet
absolutely.
back in style or like
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, Henry, Mike, thank you guys so much for being here. Guys, please go follow the Pointer Brothers on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. You will not regret it. These guys are great. They're hilarious. Go check them out and make sure you follow me for more great interviews.